All right, get ready to wrinkle your brains a little bit because today we're going deep into Madeleine L'Engle's A Wrinkle in Time.
Like a classic. And we've got excerpts from the book and, get this, a rare interview with L'Engle herself.
And, you might think, okay, children's book, got it. But this thing, it's packed with ideas that'll make you think, like really think, no matter how old you are. It's about, I don't know, peeling back those layers of, like, reality and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. A Wrinkle in Time. It combines these wild scientific concepts with, like, really deep human questions.
Cute,
It
yeah.
makes you wonder what's possible,
Yeah.
out there in the universe, but also, like, inside ourselves.
So, okay, we got to start with Meg Murray,
Yeah.
right? Our main character.
The unlikely hero.
Totally. She's this brilliant kid, but school's not really her thing. Feels like a misfit. Oh, and her dad's vanished.
Oof.
Gone.
Like, who hasn't felt that at some point? Not fitting in. That's what makes Meg so relatable.
Super relatable. And L'Engle, she knew that feeling firsthand, being an outsider.
Yeah.
She poured that into Meg.
Makes the character so real, so authentic.
But here's the thing. Those parts of Meg we might think of as like flaws, her anger, being impatient.
Yeah.
Those actually help her face some crazy challenges later on.
It's powerful, right? Lungle's saying those bits we think are weaknesses, they might be strengths. Especially when things get weird, like
Yeah.
embrace what makes you you.
Okay, so deep human stuff, check. But then we get this cosmic adventure, right? It all starts with a what? A tesseract,
Try explaining that
a
one.
fifth-dimensional shortcut through space and time. Like imagine folding a piece of paper to connect two faraway points.
Yeah, folding space and time. That's the Tesseract. Meg doesn't totally get it, but she's living it.
And L'Engle, she doesn't shy away from the science.
Oh, no.
Makes you think about reality differently.
She does. Yeah.
And then there's the guides, right? The three Mrs. W's, what's it, who, and which.
Mm-hmm.
These ladies are, like, not your average teachers.
Cosmic mentors, maybe? With a little bit of supernatural flair.
Totally. And get this, Mrs. What's It, she used to be a star.
A star.
What? I know. But one thing that really hits me is their belief in Meg. Even when she's doubting herself, they see her potential.
It's like they know what she's capable of even before she does.
Okay, but it's not all like happy space travel. L'Engle throws in this this threat. It's called the black thing, like this shadow hanging over everything, good versus evil, cosmic level.
Heavy stuff. But think about it. The black thing, it's not just some, like, abstract badness. It's that pressure to conform, to
Yeah.
fit in, even if you gotta, like, dim your own light to do it.
We've all felt that, right? Be quieter. Don't be so opinionated.
That's the black thing, man. Right there in our world.
Choices matter, even across galaxies, apparently.
Yeah.
And speaking of choices, our heroes land on this planet, Camazotz, and it's ruled by, well, IT.
And Camazotz, it's like individuality goes to die there. Everything's the same. It's controlled. You see kids playing, but it's all robotic, perfect rhythm. Moms, they're like clones.
Gives me chills. Imagine, everyone looks alike, acts alike, thinks alike. What happens to you in that world?
Right. What even is a self if everyone's a cog in the machine?
That's what A Wrinkle in Time is warning us about, right?
Yeah.
Losing those weird, awesome bits that make us who we are.
Exactly.
It's not just sci-fi, it's about, like, real-world dangers.
It is, yeah.
Conformity, losing yourself. And then the kids meet IT. Not some monster, but a disembodied brain.
And IT wants to, like, absorb every mind, no more individual thoughts.
Scary stuff. But the truly chilling part is IT gets to Charles Wallace, Meg's little brother.
Yeah.
So gifted, but now he's IT's puppet.
And well, she describes Meg's first meeting with IT. Like, imagine this huge pressure flattening you like a steamroller. That's IT. It's overwhelming, trying to crush you, make you conform.
And that's like the ultimate test, right?
Yeah.
Can you withstand that pressure?
That's the question.
Or do you just get flattened into like another copy? And this is where love comes in big time. The Mrs. W's, they talk about love as this force like bigger than the universe, something IT just can't handle.
They do, yeah.
And Meg, she has to use that love to rescue Charles Wallace. But that's a story for another time. Thinking about Camazotz, that sameness. It's like the opposite of those other planets they visit, like Uriel with the singing centaur things.
Yeah, right. It's like L'Engle's showing us beauty isn't about everyone being identical. It's about differences, all the crazy ways life expresses itself.
So it's not about being a loner, ditching community, right?
No, not at all. Individuality, it's not about, like, selfishness. It's more about recognizing everyone has worth. Every being, like, each spark of life is its own thing, and that's valuable.
That makes sense. And speaking of unique sparks, there's Charles Wallace. He's like super tuned in.
Yeah, almost like on a different wavelength.
Totally. Which is what makes his capture by IT even more, I don't know, disturbing.
It really gets to IT. It uses Charles Wallace's innocence, that openness, and twists it into something, well, kind of evil.
It's a warning, right? Even good intentions can get messed up.
Yeah, for sure. And we see Charles Wallace change, become a mouthpiece for IT. He's cold, calculating, even cruel, nothing like the kid he was.
Breaks your heart. But there are those moments, those little flashes, where his real self kind of peeks through.
There are, like, when he's fighting IT's control without even realizing it, he starts reciting nursery rhymes or tries to help Meg and Calvin escape.
You get the feeling he's not totally gone, still
Yeah.
fighting inside. Makes you hope maybe, just maybe, he can be saved.
Yeah, and this whole rescue mission, it leads to this really important scene, the reunion with Mr. Murray. Meg and Calvin, they finally find him after, like, years of searching, but he's trapped, stuck in this column thing, lost in his own thoughts.
Can you imagine finding him, but he can't even see them, can't hear them?
Must be so frustrating. And the thing is, Mr. Murray, he's super smart, a scientist, but even he can't just tesser them out of danger or outsmart IT.
Like he's not all powerful.
No.
And for Meg, it's this realization that her dad, the guy she depends on, he can't fix everything. He's human, makes mistakes.
It's got to be hard for her, like disillusioning. But it's also kind of empowering,
Because she has to step up.
Yeah.
Can't rely on dad anymore.
Exactly. She's got to find her own strength, her own way to fight back.
She's got to face IT by herself.
And L'Engle, she doesn't sugarcoat it. Meg feels completely numb, like her spirit's withdrawing. It's like she's bracing herself for this battle she might lose.
I mean, she's just a kid going up against this, universal evil.
Right, but remember, it's not just an external battle.
Oh, yeah, the internal one, too. Fighting that pull towards IT, that urge to give in and conform.
We've all felt that, right? That pressure to be someone we're not, just to fit in, even if it means losing a piece of ourselves. That's what Meg's up against, the black thing, but inside.
Like that temptation to give in, to fear, to doubt, let those bad voices win.
Totally. And here's where Meg's so-called flaws, they become her superpowers. Her anger at IT, that impatience, that stubborn refusal to be molded, those are the things that make her human, the things that make her resist IT.
It's like L'Engle's flipping the script. What we see as weaknesses, their strengths.
Think about a time you had to stand up for what you believed in, even when it was tough. Maybe speaking out against something unfair or challenging an idea that felt wrong. That strength, that refusal to back down, that's the kind of power Meg finds in her flaws.
So she's not perfect, doesn't have to be.
Nope.
She's embracing all of herself, the good, the bad, all of it.
And that's where her power comes from. She disrupts IT's control, starts shouting math equations, random facts, anything to break that hypnotic rhythm. Like she's reminding herself that knowledge, even little bits of it, can be a weapon against mind control.
It's almost like those random facts we pick up. They can help us think for ourselves.
I like that, yeah. Knowledge is a tool for resistance.
So Meg's remembering who she is, using knowledge to fight back.
Yeah.
But how does she actually break free from IT? That's the big question.
Well, remember love being IT's kryptonite. In that moment of complete despair, Meg realizes love the one thing she has that IT doesn't.
It's so simple, yet so huge.
It is. Love, in all its messy, crazy forms, it's the opposite of IT's control.
And Meg's love for Charles Wallace, that's what shatters IT's grip on him. Like pure emotion breaking through this, force fields of conformity.
Exactly. But Meg's journey, it's not over. There's a twist. She gets sent back to Camazotz alone. No backup, no Mrs. W's, nothing. It's like the ultimate test.
Last time, we left Meg in a pretty bad spot, back on Camazotz, all alone. No dad, no Calvin. The Mrs. W's gone.
Yeah, like the universe just raised the stakes. L'Engle, she takes away everything Meg's been relying on, makes her face her fears, head on. No magic, no science to help her out. Just Meg and whatever strength she has inside.
It's the final exam, right? You've learned about love, being yourself, but now you got to actually use it.
Exactly. And it's tough. She almost doesn't make it. That black thing, its grip is even tighter this time. Meg, she's just numb, going through the motions as she walks towards IT.
Can you imagine going up against that evil once, barely making it out, and then being thrown right back in, alone?
Must be terrifying. But in that darkness, there's this little spark. Meg remembers something Mrs. Whatsit said. Meg, I give you your
I
faults.
give you your phones. That's
Uh,
an interesting pep talk. What's that even mean?
It's huge. It's like completely changing how we see ourselves. Meg's faults, that anger, impatience, stubbornness, those are the things that make her, well, her. The things that make her different from those zombie people on Camazotz.
So instead of trying to like fix those parts of herself, she just accepts them.
Exactly. She uses that anger at IT for taking Charles Wallace, her impatience to get him back, that stubborn refusal to just give up. It's like she's saying, this is me, take it or leave it.
Not trying to be perfect, just being herself.
That's the key. And that's how she resists IT, breaks free from its hold, starts yelling out math problems, random facts, anything to break that mind control.
Weaponized trivia, I love it. It's like those weird facts we collect, they actually help us think for ourselves.
It's true. Knowledge is power, especially when someone's trying to mess with your mind. But there's more to it than just knowledge.
Oh yeah, there's the
Yeah.
love thing. It's one weakness.
Right. And Meg, she's at her lowest point, but that's when she gets it. Love's the one thing she has that IT doesn't.
Simple, but powerful.
Yeah.
Because love, it's messy, unpredictable, the opposite of IT's whole control freak thing.
And that's how she saves Charles Wallace. Her love for him, it just shatters IT's grip, like this wave of pure emotion blowing apart that conformity force field.
So it saves her brother, but it saves her too, right?
100%. Meg, by embracing that love, she breaks free from the black thing, goes back home, but she's not the same. A Wrinkle in Time, it takes us on this wild ride through space and time, but really it's a journey into ourselves.
It's about finding that power within, even when we feel lost and alone. Like we can face anything,
Yeah.
fight for what we believe in, and love, really love.
And it's a reminder, a call to action. Be yourself. Challenge those forces that want to box you in. Use those unique gifts, even the so-called flaws, to make things better.
So what does all this mean for you? Out there, in your world, remember Meg, remember that love is strong, and so are you.
Don't forget those flawed parts of yourself. They might be your superpowers. What makes you different? How can you use that to make a difference? Think about it. Until next time.